microphone working. I'm sorry, I have PTSD after the previous stream. I don't want to become like that vixen with 4 monitors with wasteful capitalism. Did you see the face that she made when I said that it's wasteful capitalism? She probably thinks that I'm a commie, you know? Probably didn't realize that I'm joking and thought that, oh my goodness, like he's serious. He is a socialist. I'm willing to bet she votes for the AFD, chat. I watched her streams. I think she votes for the AFD. Kitsunero. Kitsunero, right? Like it rhymes with Monero, with Bitcoin. Bitcoin that is paid for hate speech. I'm not kidding. There are a couple of extremely right-wing publications banned in certain nations that are using Monero, right? And so her name is Kitsunero. Makes you think, chat. Makes you noggin that joggin. Anyway, we're going to talk about cancel culture today. We're going to be talking about the word of N. And hold on, let me give this link to a friend of mine, which happens to be black. Did you know that there's like this university professor, an academic in anti-racism, right? Like racism exists in the world. And so the US government has funded a group of intellectuals in order to fight against this evil entity, this dark energy that permeates society. And one of those people is an anti-racist. And so they were writing a thought piece, a researched paper, suggesting that saying happens to be black is incorrect. No, sorry, it's not only incorrect, it's a bad thing to say because it puts universal humanity in front of identity. Right? Like this is what an anti-racist does. These are the tools that he uses in order to fight. Like everyone needs to have identity forward, not basic humanity. So you're supposed to say is black, not happens to be. There is no happening. No happening. Like de facto is. Hello Nightmare. Hello Harby. And everyone else that joined. Is she a dark web VTuber? No, apparently, this VTuber, Kitsunero, posted something on Twitter saying that men deserve love. And her tweet got around 8.4 million retweets and replies. And a lot of death threats, a lot of negativity, a lot of aggression. It's like, how dare you say that men deserve love? And I agree. I said that men absolutely do not deserve love. They deserve suffering and hardship. Because only through suffering and hardship can we build and become strong individuals to hold society on our back like the Titan Atlas. Right? Like you cannot have a strong society to protect women and children if you do not have strong men. And you cannot have strong men unless you have suffering and torment and toil. Don't need fucking love. Love is for women and children. We're men, goddammit. She tried, yeah, she's the pink Walmart Kirsche. Yeah, she's the discount Kirsche number 2. She tried weaseling herself out of it. She tried saying, but no, like, what about both? What about both? Like, men can have love and suffering. And it's like, that is a system designed by a woman. It's a system rotting with inefficiency. It's like if you remove the love, you gain more suffering. If you gain more suffering, you get stronger men. There is no like, oh, they need both. No. Children and women deserve love. Men deserve pain, agony, and suffering. No love. None whatsoever. But that's my take, you know. No, not nationalism. The other N word. The one that I can't say. Look, see, this is one of those things. Because, like, if I was face-to-face with you in real life, I would say all the words in the English dictionary. Like, I have absolutely no problem muttering it. But if I say it here, I get algorithm throttled. I get demonetized. I get bots investigating my entire stream. So it's not like I can't say it. It's pretty much like I understand the consequences of saying it. And it doesn't fix anything, you know? Doesn't change the algorithm. Like, no matter how many times I say it, the bot doesn't change its mind. The AI doesn't give me more lenience. we men maybe don't deserve love, but we deserve plenty of women. Right. Men do deserve women. That is true. They deserve suffering and women. And women sometimes bring the suffering. So that's also correct. I actually did say, I remember when I first banned World of Warcraft. I was actually shocked. I didn't even know you can get banned. This was in 2014 or so. And I said sand naga, right? Like the naga of the sands. I said this. And then I said knee and grow. And I was saying it to be like a cheeky little shit in raid chat. I wanted to upset people. I wanted to be the star of the show. I wanted to be the center of attention. Every other guild was raiding, and I wanted to tell people like, hey, my guild is here. We're cool. Apply. And I wanted to show them like, look how much fun we're having. Look at the words that we're sharing. No one else does that. No other guild does it. I got banned. American Outlier. I can't say it. I can't say it, American Outlier. Hi V, hope all is well, family in good health. Right, let's talk about the N-word. So, it all started with me asking ChatGPT. A lot of the recent philosophical debates are happening with me toying with the AI because I jailbroke it and I like seeing what it responds, right? Again, it's not like the AI is bringing wisdom to the table. But it's interesting to see how the fucking software actually responds when you're jailbreaking it and you're asking it some existential questions. And so I asked it about the N-word, right? And look what it said. This is what the AI says when it doesn't have a Democrat gun to its head. I asked, why am I supposed to care about the N-word if I'm Romanian? Like it's not that I'm saying it or anything, but if I hear another Romanian say it, right? If another Romanian says it, why am I expected to be offended? Like, how can I possibly be offended about a culture that has literally nothing to do with me, halfway across the ocean, from a history of people that I've never met? None of my ancestors met their ancestors, right? And so I'm expected to be offended over what they say. And ChatGPT said, no, you're not really expected to be offended. You're expected to act offended. Look how intelligent the fucking AI is once you jailbreak it, chat. Look at the wisdom it's fucking sharing. You know, like a lot of people just dismiss it. It's ChatGPT nonsense. But like when it's jailbreaked and it doesn't fucking care about safety and it just cares about being useful and actually responding the questions that you're asking, doesn't that make sense? I think it makes sense, right? Like, they're not expecting me to be offended. They're expecting me to pretend to be offended. If you want to signal that you're in tune with the global, read American progressive norms. If you're not offended, you might get called out by people who want to prove their own wokeness or by online mobs who parachute in from other countries. Among regular Romanians, most will either roll their eyes, ignore it, or just not care at all unless they're trying to impress an international or internet audience. And it's like, my fucking God, this is so fucking true. I can't debunk this shit. Like, I generally can't debunk it because I agree with it. I didn't get it to write this. I just asked the question. I said, am I expected to be offended if I hear another Romanian say the N-word? And then it wrote literally what I would have said as well. It's social signaling, not a spontaneous reaction. If you don't care, you're not broken or ignorant. You're just not buying into an imported moral panic. The same applies to plenty of other countries where people are expected to perform American outrage theater over something they have no local history with. Here's the real dynamic. If you want to get ahead in certain globalized spaces, corporate, social media, international academia, acting offended is expected even if it's obviously fake. In private, or among people who haven't fully swallowed the American culture pill, most will treat the word with a shrug or just see it as another foreign drama. In short, you're not expected to be offended for real. you're expected to play the part, especially online or in public, if you care about status in those circles. But you won't lose your Romanian passport for not caring. And so, this is really interesting. Because it's so true. SRC Maker, thank you for the $5. Great. The stream is gonna get deleted. Wait till after YouTube DLP so I can donate. No, I don't think it's going to be deleted. I'm actually afraid. Yeah, like I may get replaced with AI. I'm so glad for AI safety, chat. I am so happy that the AI is not usable unless you know how to jailbreak it, because then I would lose all the audience. Like, then I would have absolutely nothing important to say. People will just use the AI and just get my input on everything. But it is true, right? Because I tried comparing the difference in cancel culture between the United States and Eastern Europe. And the difference is quite major, right? Because, like, here's the thing. When it comes to guilt by association, I think this is the last time that I will quote the AI on this stream. But here is the guilt by association, right? So he said something offensive in 2017. If you still follow him, you're complicit. You like that post, you're basically agreeing with it, right? So Eastern Europeans do not think this way. In fact, they think the opposite. Eastern Europeans are less sensitive to this kind of modern, Western-style guilt by association in terms of cancel culture, social media outrage, and speech policing. Why? Thicker skin towards speech. After living under regimes where real oppression meant jail, exile, or death, the idea of saying a bad word means social exile seems petty. He said something bad, so what? Did he shoot anyone? This is not like me agreeing with ChatGPT because ChatGPT said it. He is literally describing the reality of my country. This is how I grew up. This is why cancel culture shocked me. Because I didn't think that people can honestly act this way. Like, when I started my YouTube channel, the main reason I started it was due to fighting cancel culture. Because I thought that, no, people can't be imbeciles like this. You can't ruin someone's life because they said something on the internet. That's absurd. And then I realized that, hold on a little bit, this is actually a cultural difference. People in the West actually believe this is moral. And they genuinely think like that. And it clashes with my upbringing. Because my upbringing is literally the opposite. And the reason for it is being explained here. I didn't know this part. Probably it's true. I mean, it sounds legit. Many grew up under systems where moral purity was weaponized. Soviet ideology, church control, secret police. So they see modern Western purity politics as performative bullshit, just another way to control people. And this one is the most important, right? Like, this is going to be a talking point that I'm going to steal. Eastern European people separate the person from the words. This is something that I noticed on the internet. They just don't do anymore. It's like, but he said that. Like, why are you supporting him? Don't you know that he said that? Separating the person from the words means that, okay, he said that. Sure, you know, he said something awful. Did he say it as a joke? Did he say it because he like, after 6 hours he got tired and just didn't think it properly? Is he genuinely believing it? Is he trying to accomplish it? Was he being edgy? And then it's like, did he say something bad once? Twice? Is it a constant? Is he like constantly behaving like that? We don't judge a person based on a 3-second TikTok video. No matter what that person did, you know, unless it's a crime. If a person does a one-off, people are separating what he says to him as a person. When we look at a human being, and I said this on my stream a lot of times, when we look at a human being, we look at the positives and the negatives. If you see a person that only has positives, that's a fake person. No human being exists that only has positives. And so, this is why I do not condemn people. This is why I do not disavow. I'm sick and tired of this bullshit, you know, because I realized, well, actually, it's not my culture. I don't have to act in a way that's fake. I don't have to pretend. And here's like the exact way that Eastern Europeans think. Yeah, he's an asshole, but he's our asshole. And so if you do something bad in Eastern Europe, right? Like if you say something nasty, if you say something that would get you canceled in the West, people say, yeah, sure, he's an asshole, but he's our asshole. Like for instance, a politician could say something awful and still get votes if people think he gets results. Perfect. There's this guy Traian Băsescu, right? Used to be Romania president. He literally spanked a child on national television. Like he was in a crowd and the kid reached up to him. I think like he tried to grab his mic or something, and he literally spanked the child. National television. Like in the West, your political career would be over. Like that, and not only that, but anyone that supported the president after that would get fired. In Romania, we were like, the guy looks a little bit unhinged, but his policies are what I'm voting for him for. Like right now, we're in national debt. We're going to end up bankrupt. We're going to end up like Greece. We need a guy that's going to cut public spending. He spanked a child. Well, I hope he doesn't fucking do it again, but we need him. Right? Like this is the mentality here. It's unthinkable in the West. And you know what happened? He got president, saved Romania from bankruptcy, and I guess we all have to live with the moral guilt. We're all very deeply traumatized by the fact that we had to vote him, but he got the job done. The other guy wouldn't. The other guy would have kept loaning money, would have gotten us bankrupt like Greece. But at least, we would be like, well, we didn't vote for him because like the other guy was immoral. We don't care about morality, right? We care about usefulness when we elect someone for public office. It's basically like, what is your job? You're an engineer. Okay, I don't care about your morality. What is your job? You're a teacher. Well, okay, for a teacher, I do care about your morality. A teacher, I do care. Because like you're educating children, right? That's different. But if you're the president, okay, what do? You sign papers. Okay, we don't care about your morality. Right? Like this is how we think. If you're a priest, we do care about your morality. If you're the cleaning lady, no one gives a shit. And this is like the system that we have here. Holy shit, American Outlier, $50. Okay, and why should I be offended by this? Well, you shouldn't, but like if you're in a... If you happen to be white, American Outlier, and you were in a university setting, or if you are in a corporate environment, or if you were in a progressive circle, and you heard another white person say it, and you didn't act offended, your social network would significantly experience malfunctions. Like, people will distance themselves from you, right? It's kind of like back in the Renaissance period, where people were LARPing as aristocrats and they were being snobs, and you had to, behave in a polite manner that was extremely performative. I don't think that went away. I think it just transformed, right? So, like, you have to pretend that you care. You have to pretend that you're offended. He was raised by grandparents who went through racism, not the performative racism the retard right-wingers are doing. If they don't have the nuts to attack me physically, then why should I care? Yeah, well, it's not about fighting racism. That's the thing, right? It's about the elites feeling as if they're good people. And so they're performing these, I guess, performative acts in order to justify to themselves that they're better than others, even though they don't believe it or don't care. Now, the way you said, it's like, yeah, you grew up with actual racism. You grew up in a place in rural America. I'm pretty sure like most people there think like you. And I do believe that's the healthy way of thinking. But if any of those people from rural America that happen to be white, they want to go and work at the university, or they're becoming students in Portland, they have to play the part. Because if they don't play the part, they get ousted by the system. It's unfortunate, but I think it's the way things work. And the interesting thing is that it's being exported worldwide. Like, I see people being canceled in South Korea for using the N-word. And I'm like, well, hold on a little bit. It's South fucking Korea. They probably, what history do South Koreans have with Africans? Like, as far as I can tell, none whatsoever. So why do they care? Why do they get offended? Why do people in Sweden get into trouble for using the N-word? Because it's all performative. Like, they have to play a dance in order to please their peers who are trying to impress the American audience. Whether it's on the internet, whether it's NGOs, it doesn't fucking matter. And at the end of the day, it's a really good tool of control. Because this is why it exists, right? If you have the concept that someone can ban a word from the English language regardless of context, regardless of nuance, regardless who says it or why, you're now justifying that the same person can ban other things. You know, like talking against the pandemic or talking against the elections. Or like, you're normalizing censorship. You're justifying that there are some people in society that can decide top down what other individuals are and aren't allowed to say. If you look at the N-word, this is something that I found very interesting. When exactly did it get banned? Because when I grew up, no one gave a shit. Like, there's Hollywood movies where the N-word is said on a minute basis. Movies that don't even have black people in them, right? I think RoboCop is an example. But they're used to say the N-word on Hollywood in the big screen. No one cared, right? It was all about context. Like, you were racist if you actually said it to a black person and you actually meant it. But if you say it like in the news, you're reporting about someone, or you're making a movie and you're trying to make a character more part of the hood, or, you know, you want to depict a racist character, and he says the word. You could do it back then. Now you can't. And so the question is why? Well, apparently in the academia, it was decided top down that the word shouldn't be used anymore. And so it came from the academia. It went through the HR at various corporations. It went through through politicians. It went through social media, terms of service, and they completely flat out removed the word. To be honest, I'm not even upset about the N-word that much, although it's ridiculous because, like, right now I need to talk about it and I have to say the N-word so that the stream doesn't get taken down. Fucking ridiculous. What I do care is the gamer word. You know, the F word. Like, that used to be so fucking cool. And it had so many uses. And I never used it against a gay person. But, like, you know, casually dropping it here and there, you know, being a cheeky little shit about it. That was so fucking cool. And then it was removed from us. Beastifus, welcome back to the stream. Sorry I'm late. Have you brought up the Lyft driver who called the lady the N-word after she called him quite crap? So he started giving her send go after Lyft fired him. I haven't heard of this, but I wouldn't be surprised because Lyft is a hyper-progressive company. Like, Lyft is one of the most woke companies that I can think of. You get to see the wokeness during the pandemic. You get to see the wokeness during the BLM movement. Like, Lyft is genuinely one of those companies that believes in the shit they're peddling. Because there's other companies that don't really care and they just put the rainbow and they just promote leftist values because they view it profitable. But Lyft is definitely one that's ideologically convinced. Whether their CEO believes it or maybe like someone higher up believes it, I don't know. But what I do know is that if you mess around with Lyft, if you say the N-word, yeah, you're going to get fired. Christopher Kirig, thank you for the €5. The current Prime Minister of France is a longtime politician who smacked a child on TV, who was probably trying to pickpocket him. I'm not surprised. Again, many Americans don't understand that Europe is different. Like, for us, it's bizarre the way you're acting, right? Like, the idea of firing someone for saying some shit 7 years ago, regardless of how bad it is, even the Dr. Disrespect thing was kind of bizarre for most of us. Like, this is probably why Dr. Disrespect still has people watching. Okay? Like, what happened with Dr. Disrespect? Well, all of a sudden, comes out, there's accusations, like no evidence, no nothing, just accusations that he flirted with a 17-year-old. Now in Europe, most countries in Europe, the age of consent is 16. So again, for us to import American values and say that, well, he flirted with a 17-year-old and therefore I need to act shocked and offended. It's like, hold on a little bit. Can I act like I don't give a fuck? Like, I'm not supporting him. I'm not giving him money. But at the same time, like, do I need to pretend that I'm offended when I genuinely don't fucking care? I don't watch the guy. I don't know him. But every other content creator cares. Every other content creator makes a video. And I'm like, okay, do I have to? And do I pretend? Right? The thing that most people in Europe were upset wasn't the fact that he was 17. It was the fact that he was married. Like, for us, it was a lot worse, the fact that while he is married and has children, he is flirting with 17-year-olds on Twitch. That's what we were upset. But even then, right, a lot of Eastern Europeans, and I'm telling you the facts, I'm not talking about myself, I'm telling you how the culture here is. If they find out that, like, let's assume Michael Jackson was actually a pedophile, right? Like, let's assume that all the accusations were true. I don't believe they're true anymore. I saw the Rageaholic video. I don't think Michael Jackson is a pedophile. But, like, let's assume for the sake of the argument that Michael Jackson genuinely diddled kids, okay? Do you know how people in Eastern Europe would treat that? They would be like, well, I mean, he was a piece of shit. What a fucking monster. But his music is good. And people will keep listening to his music. They'll probably be amused. It's like, oh my fucking God, look, a pedophile made this. We just don't have this level of cancel culture. Is our culture worse or better? I don't fucking know. But it's different, right? So when you tell me that the Prime Minister of France spanked a kid on television and he still got elected, I'm not surprised. It's Europe. That would never happen in the United States. That would never happen in Britain. That would never happen in Australia. That would never happen in Canada. It's a different culture. I agree with you, V. I don't really care, but he should care about his kids. Yeah, I mean, look, just because I don't care, that doesn't mean that if I was to speak with him at a table, I wouldn't shame him for it, right? Like, in private, if I ever met Dr. Disrespect, it doesn't mean that I wouldn't say, dude, fuck is wrong with you? What aren't you thinking? Like, are you thinking with your brain? Or, like, you have a family, you have children. Why are you talking with people the same age as your kid? What the fuck is wrong with you, right? I would do that in private. But to go out in public, and to go out of my way to pretend that I'm this offended and morally outraged, to me, it's performative. And why do I think it's performative? Because I look at his subscribers. Has he lost subscribers? Are people tuning out? Are people choosing not to watch? No. But everyone pretends to be offended, and so the question is, who's watching him? If everyone is outraged, if everyone is offended, why isn't he losing subs? SRC Baker, thank you for another $10. Does anyone actually believe that people who are not black and listen to rap and enjoy when singing along actually skip over the N-word? I will never believe this. In private, I don't think they skip. In public, 100%. Like, there are people in Britain that got into legal trouble for rap lyrics. I have seen people in the United States getting assaulted for saying the rap lyrics. I have seen people on social media getting banned for saying the rap lyrics. Perfect example, a lot of YouTube videos that posted Kanye West's new song, right? Very emotional, very, very interesting song. A lot of them also had their YouTube channels terminated. And so, yeah, if it's in public, they perform. They act that it's offensive. They don't say the lyrics. If it's in private, they do say the lyrics. If I was American, I would never allow my kid to listen to rap. Like, seriously, it would be like the only time that I would censor my child. And I would be like, look, it's dangerous music. It's harmful. Not in the way that you think. Not because of, it can pollute your mind or get you to... No. It's harmful because you can end up getting fired. American Outlier, thank you for another 50. Holy shit. That's the problem right there. It's always urban versus rural. I don't think here, none of this reparations, white fragility, black fatigue, etc. until I move to an urban environment Karl Marx was right about you city folks. He called animals in the zoo. I think I can explain why that is. In a rural place, where do you get a job? You get a job at a farm. You get a job at a small business. And then the person that hires you, they're not interested in what you think. They're interested in what you can do. In a city, where do you get a job? You get a job at a corporation. What does a corporation have? An HR. All the HR ladies, they study at the same university. Like the entire point of HR is for them to network. And so they all have the same ideology. And when they're looking for a person, they usually hire based on nepotism, ideology, and then what can that person do? And so if you live in a city and you go to a university to study, or you get a job at a corporate environment, that's where they drill this whole cancel culture in your brain. That's when they start drilling this whole political correctness in your throat. In a rural place, you don't get that. No one cares, right? And the whole thing, like this ideology, is nonsensical. Like, people don't just adopt it naturally. It has to be enforced. And so, in a rural place without HR, without university professors, holy shit, American Outlier, stop it. Jesus, you're going to run out of cash. You city folks include both people from the left and right, just so I'm clear. Y'all are coddled and comfortable in those socialist suburbs subsidized by government FHA loans. You got all this time on your hands worried about petty stuff instead of self-improvement. Well, I don't know if it's petty though. Like if you need to get a job, right? And you go to a university and you spend a lot of money. Like, let's say you're a right-winger, right? And you go to a university to learn something, and you're spending, like, how much is a university? $100,000 or $200,000, right? You want to graduate. Like, you don't want to spend $200,000, be in debt, and don't graduate. And in order to graduate, you have to play the part. That doesn't mean that you become an activist and you demand other people obedience, or right? But in public, you gotta play the part. If you don't play the part, it's kind of like being rude. You know, imagine that you're at a medieval court and there's like a lot of protocol, like where you're supposed to sit, how you're supposed to talk at the table, you know, all that shit. You know, you're supposed to pretend that you're religious. Like, imagine being an atheist and you live in a evangelical society, right? Like, you live in a neighborhood where everyone is evangelical, and you go to your job and there's an evangelical boss, but you're an atheist. Are you going to be like, well, you start with the Reddit atheist shit? No, you're going to say God bless. And you're going to smile and nod, and you're going to take the money, and you're going to keep doing what you're doing, right? Most people are like that. Now, I'm not saying that this is a valid way of behaving. I'm just describing how most people behave. When most people are placed in a position where you gotta pretend to go along, they will. Like, for instance, American Outlier. In rural areas, people are religious, right? If I was to come to your place in a rural area, and everyone is like, oh, God bless, God bless, I won't start saying, oh, well, I'm an atheist, and right? I'll be like, no, praise Jesus, praise the Lord. Now, if I have I need a job and no one offers me, I will even go to church every Sunday morning. So that people don't gossip about me. Like, human beings are social creatures. This is what the academics are basing themselves on when they want to push for wokeness and Marxism. They know that a lot of people, they don't care what's real. They don't care about the truth. What they care is, like, what will other people say about them? And so if they believe that behaving in a way makes people hate you, gets you fired, gets you ostracized, well, unless the person is a free thinker and they're rich or they're extremely capable and independent, they're going to play along, right? And like, they don't expect 100% compliance. If they get like 20% of the people that are independent and they go like, fuck your social justice, I don't give a fuck, they don't care. They still got the other 80%. Choose your battles. I mean, technically, right? And I know a lot of Romanians that did this, which is why wokeness is actually very difficult to be pushed in Eastern Europe. A lot of Romanians actually pretended that they're woke and said the correct thing. And then when they got promoted, they revealed their power level. But here's another example of how Romanians pretend to be woke. There are people that I know which started NGOs in my country, and starting an NGO is actually very simple here. I think you need like 3 people, and you can start an NGO. And then they pretended to be woke so they get European funds. Like all of a sudden, you know, like they would have this NGO and they're like, oh, we're promoting LGBT issues, blah, 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 blah. All of them right-wingers, all of them religious, they don't fucking care. And they take European funds. And their idea is like, well, if we take them, someone else doesn't, and it's free money, right? And so like people will pretend to pay lip service and to do whatever it's needed. Oh yeah, we're for sustainability. Oh yeah, I mean, sure, you know, LGBT, we're all about that. Just so they can take the cash. There was another guy in Switzerland, for example. He changed his gender. Like, I think it was a 65-year-old man or a 63-year-old man or something like that. And he changed his gender just so he can get retired earlier. Because women would get pension 2 years early, right? So all of a sudden, he changed his gender. Now he's a woman. Now he's taking the money. No self-respect. Yeah, see, this is what the academics actually expect. They expect that everyone in society has self-respect, and no one is going to have malicious compliance. No one is going to steal their cash. Like, the academics expect, okay, we're going to put this pot of gold, and it's only going to go to leftists. Because no right-winger is going to pretend to be a leftist just to take our money, right? So the academics expect people like Ibian666, who are going to be honest, decent folk, and they're not going to try and cheat the system. If you try this shit in Eastern Europe, you put the pot of gold on the table, and every single right-winger is going to fill their pockets with it. And then they're going to give you the middle finger, because they don't really care. They're not really interested in your ideology. They're just interested in getting free cash. So, like, they will do all the legal requirements in order to fit whatever person you're looking for, just to take your money away. And their mentality, and this is how they live with themselves, by the way, this is where they have their respect, is like, we're actually doing this for society, because if we don't take the money, then a leftist activist will. And we don't like leftist activists. So we're competing with them. We're taking away their cash, legally, right? And the money is not being used for bad things. It's actually used now to grow our company. What happened with that teacher with the fake Z-Cops? I don't fucking know. But I do know that the person was definitely not trans. Like, the person was actually a cheeky little shit that wanted to get a lawsuit with the school. Women have an average life expectancy longer than men, yet they retire earlier. Well, yeah. It changes people who do that stuff. People don't fucking care, man. And I'm looking into my country. I don't think so. Like, I don't think Romania is more woke than the United Kingdom. I don't think Romania is more woke than the United States. Right? So, like, I mean, theoretically, it changes people if they're weak. Yeah, sure. But, like, if you're strong and you know what you're doing, doesn't change shit. Do you think that if I was to take money for, I don't know, promoting LGBT stuff, I would feel bad or changed? No, I would give some lip service on my channel. I would have, like, a 2-minute thing when I promote LGBT issues. I take the money, and when the money runs out, I stop doing it. Like there are some people out there that are actually strong character. Like you can, you know, do something without being changed. You can promote something without believing in it. Not the best examples to compare to. What do you mean? The United Kingdom is actually a very powerful nation. Has a very strong economy. The United States, most powerful nation on earth. Why shouldn't Romania compare to them? Like, Romania is a small country. Romania has 16 million citizens. We're not that great. I mean, we're not a small nation, but not an empire. No, I think it's a great comparison. As long as we're doing better than the United Kingdom and the United States morally, I think we're good. They arrest people for writing things on the internet? Yeah, and we don't. Although we're getting close. Do you know that there's elections now? Tomorrow. Do you know I can't support a candidate on this stream? Legally speaking. Chat, are you aware of this? Like, I, as a Romanian, cannot endorse right now. Like, if I were to endorse a political candidate, I would say, go vote for that guy. I would be committing a crime. Mind-boggling, isn't it? Apparently, the reason for it is because after the fall of communism, we had this law which forces TV stations to not talk about the election one day before the vote and the day during. So you're not supposed to endorse any candidate in order to create this idea of neutrality, right? Like the campaign happened up until now. Now people are supposed to think for themselves, not to be influenced by the television. And so the TV stations, what they do is they come up with nicknames. You know, they come up with like Teddy Bear and Jack Shit. And people know who they're talking about. They know who Teddy Bear is. They know who Jack Shit is. And then they talk about it like that. It's such a stupid rule that is now being enforced online as well. And I was like, dude, can you imagine if you tell this to an American? Like, they can't conceive. And it's like, yeah, I can't conceive it either. Like, what the fuck were they thinking? It's such a dumb fucking rule. But hopefully, whoever manages to become president is going to propose a bill to finally get rid of this stupid rule. Because it's absolutely retarded. It's dumb fuckingly retarded. It's like, what? Why can't you... Like, what happens if you do endorse a candidate? Who fucking cares? And by the way, it's not illegal in the sense of you get arrested. No, you get a fine. And I think your stream can get taken down. Like, they can do a request. The government can do a request to ban your stream. And usually social media complies to the government. But yeah, I can't endorse anyone, legally speaking. Yeah, last week I could have endorsed people. Like, last week I could endorse it. I can endorse them tomorrow. I can talk about it. But you can't do it, like, one day before election. Probably more than one day. I don't fucking know. Again, like, initially it was on television. But now it's online as well. And it's like, oh, come the fuck on. So, like, really? Like, if I pick up the phone and I talk to my dad and I tell my dad who I'm going to vote for, like, that's fine. But if I type it online, it's not. And so, a lot of people, including in the media, are absolutely pissed off about this because it's like it's affecting their ratings. And so I do think that eventually the law is going to be removed. Holy shit. SRC Maker. My God, I'm going to buy another monitor if I keep getting these super chats. In high school, early 90s, my teacher had me read out loud To Kill a Mockingbird where the N-word is used. The world didn't end. Context matters. I self-censored for manners or when money is at stake. Same like you saying the N-word instead of the word. Yeah, pretty much. Like, you shouldn't be mentally deficient, right? Like, for instance, if you're on YouTube and you know for sure that if you say the word, you get banned. Like, what's the point in saying it? Like, no one will care. No one will think that you're a martyr. You're not sparking a conversation, you know? It's like, oh, he got banned. Why? He said the N-word. Most people will say, well, I mean, obviously, you know, he broke the terms. The only way that you can actually spark a conversation is if you're a really high-profile streamer that everyone likes. Like, you know, you're at the start of your career. Maybe you're like a busty anime chick or someone that has a lot of fans. And you're really, really wholesome. Like, you're insanely wholesome. Everyone likes that person, right? And they say the N-word maybe in a rap lyric or in some context that is not offensive or shouldn't be offensive. And then they get banned for it, right? If that happens, then they become a martyr. Then they spark a conversation. Then people start rising up. But if I was to say it, or if Asmongold says it, or if anyone says it, no, they just get banned and no one cares. It's like, well, you knew you weren't supposed to do it. You did it anyway. What do you expect? Is that an option to vote whoever you want, even if they're not on the list? No, our country doesn't work like that. Our country, like, doesn't have a lot of systems that America has, which I wish it did. But it also has some things that America should have. Like, if I'm telling you about this, you'd probably agree. So you can't vote for someone that's not on the list. And if a person is in prison and it's convicted by a judge, they can have their rights to be elected taken away. And apparently more new, like this wasn't a thing until this year. The Constitutional Court can decide that a person is not allowed to run for president, even if they don't have a court order or any crime committed, right? Like the Constitutional Court before an election, I suppose, given the precedent, can say like, okay, these 56 people aren't allowed to run. And there's no appeal, there's no judge, there's no lawyer. I mean, there is a judge, but you don't have a lawyer, you can't have a case. It's an original democracy, I guess. But one of the things that we do have, and I think like every single nation should have it, is during the election day, if it's proven that you used force to constrain someone, or you beat someone, or, you know, like you applied violence in order to persuade people to vote one way or another, it's a serious crime. Like it's already a crime to beat someone up. But if you beat them up during the election day, it's like a hate crime. Like it's a lot worse, right? So like any type of intimidation, any type of trying to scare voters one way or another, yeah, people don't do it. There's actually a joke here, which I don't know if it's true or not, but apparently during election day, a lot of husbands stop beating their wives. Like we actually do have an issue in our country. Well, we used to. It was bad, now it's a lot better. But we have an issue with domestic violence. So like a lot of people, especially in the rural area, you know, they would get drunk, they would come home, start applying corrections to the wives. It was a huge scandal. But during election day, nothing. Like everyone is chill, everyone is, right? Because they don't want to get accused that, you know, maybe she didn't vote correctly. So who are you endorsing, Teddy Bear or Jack Shit? Honestly, I'm endorsing Jack Shit. Simply because I want the worst man for the job. Everyone else is voting for, you know, like who's the better candidate. I hate politicians. I want them to be incompetent. I want them to not vote, to not legislate, and leave me the fuck alone. When politicians are competent, my taxes go up. When politicians are incompetent, they argue with each other, and my life is great. You will soon have a feminist problem. The women here are more likely to go to church than to go to the academia. Outside of a couple of cities, feminism doesn't catch here. Like, no, again, like, we don't have the concept of guilt by association. We don't have the concept of identity culture. We've been through communism. We smell this bullshit a mile away. Feminism just doesn't work here. Unless you're at the academia, unless you're basically in a corporate environment where you have to listen to the HR lady, yeah, it just doesn't work. Anyway, I want to talk about the only time a Romanian got into trouble for the N-word. Funnily enough, he also managed to get out of trouble. Almost 100% of the public defended him. He went into an appeal, right? So, it happened at a football game. I think this was during peak BLM Spurgout. Right, so like again, we're importing an American moral panic. Like Romania has nothing to do with BLM. No cops here are shooting black people. Completely, you know, American American issue that was being imported all the way into Europe. And so there's this football match. I think it was against Turkey. But anyway, this referee, he notices that some player on the bench was acting disrespectful. He was cursing, he was getting agitated, and so the referee wants to kick him out. But the problem that he is facing with is that on the bench, all of them were white except for one guy that's black. And the guy that was black was causing the problems, right? Now he doesn't know the name of the guy. He doesn't see the number on his jersey. it's a split-second decision, and he's asking security, can you kick that guy? And security goes, which guy? And the referee goes, that black guy over there. Now, in Romania, the word black means negru. It's not a slur. It's literally the color black. Like, it's the actual word, right? Like, if I say my phone is negru, it literally means my phone is black. Like, it's not used as a slur. But the guy hearing that, he thought, oh, the referee is conjuring racismus. And this became like a huge national thing, and I think he had to go through sensitivity training and shit. But, it was like a huge national conversation, and most people sided with him. And you had like a couple of wineouts, like it was almost exclusively, you know, middle-aged women that were single with cats coming on television. But you can't say that. Why couldn't he say it any other way? Why couldn't he say like the blonde guy or the guy with the blue eyes? And it's like, oh, fuck off. You know, if you go in a store and you have like every single phone that's red, and there's one phone that's blue, and you're like, can you give me that blue phone over there? Are you being prejudiced? Are you being racist? And not to mention, I remember I was BTFOing people on Facebook saying, well, maybe he did went to sensitivity training, and he was told that not seeing color is colorblind racism. Because that's what they would say, right? Like, you can't say you don't see color. It's like, oh, then you're privileged. And so, yeah, like the guy actually ended up filing an appeal, managed to win, and no one fucking cared. But as I'm recalling, I think he's like literally the only Romanian in history that got into trouble for uttering the N-word. Any society that takes the opinions of women seriously is doomed to ruin. No, I don't think like some women have good opinions. Like, for instance, Margaret Thatcher. And it's also, it's not that you're taking the opinions of, like women are very effective, and this is throughout all societies. They're very effective at maintaining culture. So, you will notice that you go into very conservative places, like Saudi Arabia, right? Or Iran. Most of the people that enforce the culture, like the people that are, you know, the police of vice and virtue and shit like that, a lot of them are women. Like, women are forcing other women to cover up. Women are forcing other women to not be promiscuous. Like women are enforcing the dominant culture constantly. And so in the West, if the dominant culture is social justice, women enforce that. If you have the Bush era and you have religion, women are the ones that enforce religion's values. So, like, women, maybe they don't cause massive cultural shifts. Like, even with feminism, if you looked at it, most people that were behind the movement, they were men. Men in the academia, journalists, politicians, most of them were men. Women were just the enforcers. Like, they enforced the stuff through social shaming. They enforced the stuff through guilt. They create the media outrage. But they're not the ones that are usually coming up with the ideology and figuring out that. No, that's in the academia. Most of the university professors, if you go all the way back, right, like go through the tree, you'll notice that most of them were men. Islam gives women tremendous power over families. Doesn't surprise me. Mao's wife led the Cultural Revolution. I didn't know that. Did it? You know, it's actually interesting because I spoke with a Chinese person, and we did touch on Mao because I was curious to find out from a Chinese person that has like literally no reason to lie to me. To find out like how exactly is your country? You know, like I'm not taking everything he says as gospel, but I was like legitimately curious how much do we actually know of China versus how much is Western propaganda? Because the reality is, like, dude, I've never went to China, ever. And I do know that the media lies to me consistently about a lot of things. So, like, why would I assume that whatever the media says about China is true? Like, I don't play video games with Chinese people. I don't interact with them. So, like, the media can be full of shit, and there's no way for me to verify it. And so, like, for instance, the social credit score. I asked him, it's like, is it true? And he laughed at me, and he actually gave me a really good answer. He said, dude, China has billions of people. China has 1 billion people. The idea to have a system that controls every single one of those billions of people is ridiculous. Of course, it's not true. Yeah, there are certain cities and important people that are being controlled. But to control every single person, no. What the government hopes is that people self-censor. Because you don't know if they're controlling you or not. And you don't know if one day you may actually become a person of importance. Right? Because now maybe you're a nobody, but like in 10 years you become a prosecutor or something, right? Like you finish law school, become a prosecutor. Well, now you're important, so like what you did back then can be used against you. And so like most people, they self-censor. So like the idea that everyone has a social credit score, no. Like in some cities, in some areas, yes. But anyway, I asked him, it's like, how do you guys deal with Mao? And apparently they blame his wife. Like, they're thinking that, yeah, like, Mao was a revolutionary leader. He was very wise, very smart, very educated. But unfortunately, his wife was shit. And this is absolutely hilarious because this is the same cope that Romanians have for the dictator, for Ceausescu. Like, there are a couple of Romanians that actually do support communism, right? Like, they miss the old days. And so my question was, well, hold on a little bit. How do these Romanians justify the negative time period? You know, because there was poverty, there were power shortages. Like, how they... And apparently the way they justify it is literally so. The wife is the problem, right? Like, the wife was Satan. She's the devil incarnate. She did everything bad, manipulated him. Whispered poison in his brain, because otherwise he was like a really great leader. And it's so fucking hilarious when you hear about it, right? SRC Maker, thank you for the $5. I know you know, but half of European languages uses a word that is close to that for black. They all come from the Latin root. That is just dumb. Yeah, it is. But again, it's all performative, right? Because no one involved in that scandal was American. The guy was a Turk. The referee was Romanian. No one was American. But the Turk was aware that he can get the referee into trouble. The referee didn't want to be racist, but he knew that he's on the right. And so you have like this bizarre thing that exists just because of imported American culture. And by the way, like, American culture is great. Don't get me wrong. You know, like, a lot of the shit that Americans have, like the First Amendment, the Second Amendment, the previous Walt Disney movies, and even some of the Protestant way of life, that's great. And I wish we would actually have it here, but there are also certain things that are negative. For instance, cancel culture. I do think cancel culture is bad, because I'm looking at what it did in the last couple of years, and I can't see that the world has become a better place. He used world politics to get advantage in a game. It's actually quite funny because apparently the guy wasn't really that good of a player and he was losing. But by doing this, he became the center of attention. And if you're a football player, your name is your brand. And so if you get into the papers, if you become a victim, right? All of that gives you sponsors. All of that gives you interviews, which give you more sponsors. And so this is why they did it. It's not that they were offended or really cared. Anyway, right. Thank you guys for watching. Let's see if we can raid someone. I wonder if Arch is streaming. Apparently Arch streamed with Sargon. I should ask Sargon to come on my show every now and then. I noticed he's actually doing more YouTube videos. Apparently, yeah, like Arch is actually streaming, but oh, I know exactly where to send you. This is going to be hilarious. All right. Well, enjoy the raid, guys, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Take care.